Hi, welcome back. This is the third lecture in the series on topology. We are still continuing with the examples, right? I think at this rate I may have one more, okay? But it's worth it, you will see, okay? We're going through this example step by step and trying to understand the question which I asked, okay? It will make you more comfortable with that thing, okay? Let's go back. So let me share the thing. Yeah, right. Did I start the recording? Yes, right. Okay. So remember the last example. I don't know number now, but to probably let us say 7. Okay. What is the example? I take x equal to r and I define a topology tau. So it is collection of all u subsets of R. With what property? Either u is empty or u complement, that is R difference u, see R difference u is countable. Right? Okay, so I am sure that you, by definition, empty set belong to this, and if I take u equal to R, then what is our complement? It's empty, which is a finite set, and hence countable. Okay, therefore R also belong to tau. And this is the first thing. And second thing I have to check is arbitrary union. So let me look at the collection ui, I and I. This is a subset of u, tau. Okay. Now this, as I said, I will call it TCC. CC for co-countable. Okay. I have to check whether the union ui is in tau. That topology, right? And as usual, let me just ignore the cases. If all of them are empty, okay, for Ri u is empty, then union ui will be empty set, and that belongs to tau. Therefore, there exists at least one I, so that, let us say one j, so that uj is not empty. Right? Okay, so let us look at this case. So let us look at ui. Okay, now this. Now notice that uj is contained in this, therefore this is not empty. Right? Therefore, when does a non-empty set belong to tau cc? If only if the complement is countable. Therefore, what is the complement? That is union ui and its complement. Again, by De Morgan's law, as we are done, this is intersection of ui complement. Are you writing over I? Right? But notice that this is contained in uj. Uj complement. Right? And what do I know about uj? Uj is non-empty and uj belongs to the topology tau cc. That means uj complement is countable. Right? Therefore this is countable. And this being a subset of a countable set, this is countable. Okay, so what have I shown? I have shown that union ui immaterial of the case, this also is tau cc. Intersection is again easy. Suppose u and v belong to cc. Okay, now I have to look at u intersection v, whether it belongs to this. Notice that if one of them is empty, then this will be empty, right? U is empty or v is empty, implies u intersection v is empty, and therefore that belongs to this. So let us assume u is not empty, v is not empty. But notice that these are non-empty subsets in tau cc. That means u complement, v complement are countable. Right? Now I want to say whether u intersection v is in cc. That is same as saying it happens if only if it's complement. This is by De Morgan's law, u complement union v complement. And this is countable, this is countable, and as you know, countable sets is countable. In particular, finite union of countable set, this is countable. So what does it say? So it says that u v belong to Tau cc implies u intersection v is also in tau cc. Therefore, tau cc is a topology. It's called the co-countable topology. Right? You understood? Right. Now, what are the obvious questions you can ask? See, now no. See, I could have done it with for any set S. Okay, and I can define the co-countable topology on X, exactly mimicking the same process, right? But as usual, I took X equal to R because there are obvious sets I can ask for. Let's look at. Okay, now let me look at the set A equal to set of rationals. Okay, is it open? Does it belong to tau cc? When does it belong to? If only AC is countable. But what is AC? This is R minus Q. Okay, but R minus Q is set of irrationals. Right? Suppose this is countable, then A, that is Q, and R minus Q, this is countable, therefore R is countable. A contradiction. Yeah? Therefore, what is the answer? Q does not belong to tau cc. Have you understood? But on the other hand, if I take B equal to R minus Q, that is set of irrationals, then what do I know? Yeah? Then B belong to, B is open. Why B is open? Because B complement is nothing other than set of rationals that is countable. Right? Therefore, B belong to, that is set of irrationals belong to that, whereas set of rationals does not belong to that. You should compare this with the usual topology. Tau u, usual topology, that is a metric topology on R. There what we know, neither Q nor R minus Q is open. Open in tau u, right? Whereas in the co-countable topology, we see set of irrationals is open. See that, you see the power of axioms? Now, there is nothing like drawing picture and try to see that. You have to argue only with the condition. What is the condition? When I want to say A is open, the only way I know in the co-countable topology is take the complement. Then I have to find out whether it is countable. Yeah? Now let's look at, suppose I have an interval AB and we know this is open in the usual topology. But is it open in TC, T co-countable topology? No, because okay, and we know these are all uncountable sets, right? Therefore, the complement, we should call it A complement is this, which is uncountable. Therefore, A is not in tau cc, right? Okay. Now let me ask. Suppose I give 0, which is in rational number, right? Can you think of u in co-countable topology so that 0 belongs to u? Right? That's for fun, try. You can think of very crazy, okay? So open set U, let us look at R minus Q, okay, union singleton 0. 0 belong to this, and what is the complement? U complement is all rational numbers except 0. Therefore, this is countable. Therefore, what do I know? This is an open set. Now, do you see that whatever I did for 0, I could have done for any rational number. Do you feel that? Do you see that? Look at R minus Q, that is an, okay, you know it's open set. I am adding one more thing, right? Are you sure you had understood? Yeah, pause. will be proceed. See, this is the reason why I chose a very concrete set S, so that I can play with it. Yeah? Right. Now if I give any irrational number, suppose alpha is in R is irrational, what is the obvious open set you can think of? R minus Q itself. Okay? I do not look any further, right? Very simplest one. Yeah? Do you like that? Alright. But you can think of a lot more examples. You should try to think. Yeah? Okay. Now the question is, suppose X is any set, but it's countable set. Right? Let tau CC be the co-countable topology on X. What can you say about this? You have done, do you remember, we have seen something similar. What did we do? If X is a finite set, if I do cofinite topology on that, I know it is discrete. Now what do you guess? Yes, it should be discrete topology. Can you prove it? The proof is exactly similar. Let A be any subset of X. Then what is A complement? That's a subset of X. This is countable. Therefore this is also countable. That means A belongs to tau CC. So any arbitrary subset is belongs to tau CC. It's in the topology. That means the topology consists of all subsets of X. Therefore it's a discrete topology. What was our assumption? It's countable. Yeah? Okay. So let me give two of my favorite examples. This is example 8. I assuming that this was example 7. Okay, right. This is again my favorite example. So I call this VIP topology. You will see the reason. Suppose there is a group, okay, there is a party, okay, this is a political party if you want. Okay, now you have the most important person. Okay, this is a VIP of the party, maybe the foremost leader. Then suppose you form various groups for various committees for doing various works. Okay. Right. Now this is a group in which the VIP is not there. Do you think any of the committee decisions will be approved by the general party? No. Everybody will look up only the supreme leader. Right? C is the VIP. You follow that? So we are going to define a topology using this notion. So now let us take again X equal to R. Again, for a simple reason, let me take 0 is a VIP, 0 is an R. Right? Now I am going to define tau VIP. Okay, this is subsets of R, so that either U is empty or 0 must be in U. So what groups matter? Only those groups which have the VIP inside. It could be empty set, that doesn't matter, okay? It's an empty group, has no meaning, so it's okay. You follow that? Yeah? So when a set is open, for example, let us look at an R. Suppose I have the set 1, 2, this is open double. Is it open? No. Now suppose I take U equal to Q. Is it open in VIP topology? Yes. This is no. Where I take R minus Q, is this open in VIP topology? No. Why? That's because 0 does not belong to that. That's it. Isn't it very amazing? Now suppose I give something like the J infinity. Is it open? If it is open, what should happen? 0 must be there. So what does it mean? That means A must be strictly less than 0. Whereas 0 infinity is not on tau VIP. You follow that? This is how you should play with it. We have not yet established whether it's a topology or not, but we started playing with it. Yeah. So this is what you should do. Whenever you see a new topology is defined, okay, and a set, you just play with this kind of thing. And this is the reason why I took x equal to r. For example, I could have started with any x, any set, okay, and I could have started with some a particular point p in x, okay, fix it. Then I can define tau VAP, where p is the VAP, that is u is the subset of x, so that either u is empty or what should happen, p must be in u. That's it. Okay. But here I do not know what to play with it, whereas here the set is known, so that there are a lot of subsets I can think of, therefore I can ask whether they are open, they are closed, they are not, etc, etc. Closed I have not defined, sorry. Okay, right, now let's say it's a topology. So this belongs to tau VAP and R of course belongs to tau VAP. So the first condition is met. And what is the second condition? So let UI, okay, be a collection, right? Open sets in the topology, VAP topology. Then what do I want to do? The union. As usual, if all UIs are empty, yeah, if for all UI is empty, then union UI will be empty. Therefore, that belongs to tau VAP, right? So let me assume there exists a J such that Uj is not empty. Then you notice that Uj is not empty. That happens if only if, but it is also in VAP topology. What does that mean? That means 0 must be in J. You follow? Therefore, topology must be in union UI. 0 must be in UI because this contains Uj. 0 belongs to Uj and that is contained in union UI. Isn't it easy? Very good. So this is the second condition. What is the third condition? Third is, suppose V belong to VAP topology. Then I have to say whether U intersection V is in VAP topology. Yeah. So what are the possibilities? Again, if both of them, one of them is empty, one of them is empty, then the U intersection V is empty, therefore it's okay. Therefore let's assume U is not empty, V is not empty. What does that mean? But U is not empty, but it's in the VAP topology, it's an open set. That means 0 must be in U. And similarly 0 must be in V. Therefore 0 is in U intersection V. Therefore that belongs to VAP topology. Have you understood this? Yeah? Right. Now let's play with it. So hereafter I will only work with, whenever I say VAP topology, I will assume R with the VAP as 0. In the rest of the course, I will always assume this is my favorite thing. I do not work with the general X and P, etc. Okay, because here we can celebrate. Now let's ask, suppose I have X equal to 0 in R, right? What is the simplest open set containing X? Smallest or simplest or minimal and so on. Most convenient set, namely 0. Take U equal to 0. Is this open? Yes. Why? It's non-empty, it contains 0. Therefore this is an VAP. Alright? But on the other hand, if I take 1, my X equal to 1, what's the simplest open set? Suppose U, right, is the simplest open set such that 1 is in U, right, but therefore U is not empty, right, but U belongs to VAP topology. But when does a subset belong to VAP topology? If only if 0 must be there, 0 is there, right, therefore this implies 0 is in U. So does this make you guess what should be the simplest open set? Did you guess? Very simple, namely 0 and 1. Therefore if I take A non-zero in R, okay, the simplest open set containing A is A and 0. Isn't it amazing? Right? Now you should also notice that, okay, why I call it VIP. So if any group has to make sense, 0 must be there. Okay? So you cannot find a non-empty open set without 0 being there. Right? That in particular, you start with U and V, non-empty sets, non-empty open sets, where in the VIP topology. So what do I know about U intersection V? This is not empty. You see that? Yeah. In particular, if I take something like A in R and B in R, can I find an open set U which contains A and an open set B containing B, so that U intersection V is not empty? Sorry, E is empty. Can I do that? Does there exist such things? Because U contains A, this is non-empty, therefore U must contain A and 0. And similarly, V must contain B and 0. Contain, right? Therefore, U intersection V must contain A intersection 0, intersection B intersection 0. Therefore, it must contain singleton 0. Therefore, this is not empty at all. Yeah? And contrast with the usual topology, if you give me of course, sorry, I should assume A is not equal to B. Even otherwise, it's a correct statement, but okay. If I have R with usual topology, then I know I can always plot it. Suppose A is less than B, I can find small intervals around this, so that, okay, this is my U, this will be, so that U intersection V is empty. So I can do that, whereas in VIP topology, I can't do that. Do you follow that? Yes? We'll come. We'll understand more about this. Okay, so what are the questions we had asked? Whether set of rationals is open? Yes. Set of irrationals? No. And when an interval is going to be open? If only if 0 is in that interval. That's it. Right? Therefore, this interval, this is open in VIP. Right? Because 0 is there. Yeah? Okay. Now suppose I take only the set of, okay, X in the interval AB. Okay. Now let me see A less than 0, less than B. So that X is only right. That is, this is AB intersection Q. Okay. Does this belong to VIP? Yes, because A is less than 0, less than B, therefore 0 is there, and 0 is also in Q, therefore 0 belongs to this set, right? Therefore it's a open VIP topology, right? Okay, play with this. Okay, now let's look at one more example. This is the antithesis, that is exactly opposite. If you consider as a villain, okay, so as North Pole, then I'm having a South Pole kind of thing. So can you guess what should it be? So let us again start with X equal to R and take the point 0 in R, right? Now what do I want? Again go back to my party analogy. Okay, see, there is one guy who is a villain. Okay, nobody likes him. Right? So what do I want? Any such group will try to avoid you. And if there is a group which has him, then you don't want to consider, because there is a troublemaker. Right? So you want to avoid him. Right? So we want to avoid 0 all the time. Right? Therefore we call it outcast topology. We want to exclude him. What does that mean? So you give me a set U in R. So I want to define a topology. Let me call it outcast. Right? So when does U belong to this? Notice that empty set must be there. That is all right, because see, now suppose I have a U. I want to say U belong to this. 0 is not in U. You understand that? So I am going to define outcast topology to be subset of R, so that either U is R or 0 is not in U. Notice that in the any topology, empty set must be there, the full set must be there. So if I want R to be there, 0 will be there. So what do I do? Take, okay, you allow U equal to R, otherwise, okay, 0 should not be there. What does that mean? Think carefully before we say whether it's a topology or not. Okay, let us play with it. Suppose I say U is a proper subset of R and U belong to tau outcast. What does that mean? It's not R, but it belongs to this, right? Therefore, so this happens if only if 0 is not in U. Alright? So any interval of the form minus R to plus R, that cannot be in outcast topology because 0 is always there, not positive. Right? Whereas any interval AB, whether it is this, whether it is this, whether it is this, or whether it is this, okay, they all will belong to tau outcast as long as 0 is not in them. For example, 1 2 1 2 1 2 and 1 2, all of them will be there, right? Now let us ask whether Q is in outcast, because 0 belongs to this, right? Therefore this cannot be an outcast. It's not empty, it's not all of R, therefore it cannot be. Whereas how about R minus Q? That belongs to, because 0 is not there. That's open. Do you see the variety? Yeah? Yes? Right. In the earlier case, in the VIP topology, Q was in VIP topology and R minus Q was not in VIP topology, on R of course. Right? Whereas in the outcast topology, the other way around. Okay? Now what is the question you think I am going to ask? Now that all of you should know, right? Now suppose I take A which is not equal to 0, what's the simplest open set? Containing A. Okay? So suppose U is an open set which contains A. A is, now therefore U is not empty. Right? If it's R, there is nothing, but it's not the simplest. You understand? Suppose U is also not equal to R. Then what does that mean? 0 is not in A. Right? You follow that? But A itself is non-zero, therefore if we consider singleton A, okay, 0 is not here because A is not 0. Therefore this fellow is an open set. So what have you found? For every A in R, if A is not equal to 0, then singleton A is open in outcast topology. Now suppose A equal to 0, then I want the simplest open set. Now do you see that? There is only one, namely U equal to all of R. Because, go back to the definition, you suppose U is in the outcast topology, if you want to be 0, then what does it mean? U has to be R, there is only one thing. Yeah? Right. Now, as I said, for any non-zero thing, the simplest open set is singleton, and so what do? You just take any subset, okay, take any subset A of R minus 0, right? Call it among B, and then look at U to be V union singleton A if A is not 0. Okay, these are all open sets containing A. So in particular, if I take V equal to empty set, I have singleton A. Yeah. So this is what I want you to play with. Okay, think of something more, try. So the general case again you can do, let X be any set, fix a point P in X, then you can define outcast topology with the P as outcast. How do you define? This is set of all U subset of X so that either U equal to X or P is not in U. Right? So proceeding as I did earlier. Oh, I have not yet proved the topology, right? I forgot. Yeah, good. I have to still show it's a topology, right? You'll prove it's a topology. But remember, whenever I deal with all these things, I will always take R so that I can generate a lot of subsets, generate specific points, and then work out, ask various questions. So the fun will be there. In the general case, it may not be. So let us go back to the general R with this. I want to know that this is a topology. Okay. So we already know empty set is in R because 0 is not in empty set. And R is in outcast topology because by decree we had already included R. And next is union. So let UI be a subset of outcast. Right? What are the possibilities? Suppose there exists J in I such that Uj equal to R, then what will be union Uj? Ui. That will be R. Therefore that belongs to outcast. You follow that? Therefore what is the case left out? Therefore for again negation. Okay, this is case 1. Okay, case 2 is negation. There is at least one J such that Uj is R. That means give me any I in I, Ui is not equal to R. But Ui is in where? Outcast topology. So what do I know? 0 is not in Ui. Right? Now what do I want to claim? Let us look at union Ui. Can 0 be there? Cannot be. If 0 is there, if and only if there exists a J so that 0 belongs to Uj. But what is our assumption? For every I in I, Ui is not in R. Right? If 0 is in Uj and Uj belongs to outcast topology, these two things imply Uj must be all of R. But what was our assumption? Given any I, Ui is not equal to R. Therefore, in particular, Uj cannot be R. You follow that? Therefore, what do I claim? So, I conclude 0 cannot be in the union Ui. You follow that? Please pause, review, proceed. And U intersection V, again the same kind of trick. How do I do that? So as usual, U intersection V, if one of them is empty, okay, suppose one of them is empty, then U intersection V is empty, therefore U intersection V belongs to outcast topology. And suppose one is R, say X, sorry, U equal to R. Then what is U intersection V? Or let us assume U intersection is V. Now, right, we are also assuming, let me go case by case. This is the first case, therefore second case is U is not empty, V is not empty. Is it clear? Now let's look at U intersection V. Right? If U equal to V equal to R, then U intersection V is R, therefore it is in outcast topology. If not, okay, what is this is a subcase. U is not empty, V is not empty, therefore they belong to outcast topology. Therefore there is a possibility both of them are, or one of them is not R. Suppose U is not equal to R, I don't care about V. Okay, one of them is not R. Assume for so definite sake u is not equal to r. Then what do I have? Since u is not equal to r, I know 0 is not in u, because u is not in r, but u belong to outcast topology. If it is not r in r, if a subset of r is not r, but it belongs to outcast topology, means 0 is not there. Therefore 0 cannot be in U intersection V. You follow that? Yeah, this U intersection may be empty, non-empty, I don't care. Remember, to show that U intersection is in the outcast topology, what I have to show is 0 should not be there. And it cannot be R. Why it cannot be R? Because U is not R. Therefore, this is a proper subset of R. Right? So, to show that it is not, it is in the outcast topology, I only have to say 0 is not there. But that's correct. Because if 0 is there, that means 0 will be in U. You follow that? Please pause, review and proceed. Okay? So, in the next lecture, I will come up with one more example. Okay? And that will be the 10th example possibly. That will be the last of our thing. Okay? And what do I plan to do? As I said, hereafter, whenever I introduce various concepts, maybe closed sets, okay, dense sets, lower dense sets, continuity, limit point, or cluster point, various kinds of notions, right? Even later compactness, everything, and regularity, separation properties like Hausdorff. Please do not get intimidated. If you have not seen any of these things, don't worry. The purpose of the course is to teach you, right? So don't worry about that. Okay? So all those concepts you will test against these examples so that you will become very confident. It's not only just theorem, some result, you learn by heart, nothing else. You will actually see a lot of examples. To understand those concepts and also learn the proper or in-depth, we will employ this example. That is the trick. This I do in material of any course. If it's a group theory, I will have a set of group examples of groups. So all the concepts I will deal with that. And if it's a ring theory, the same thing. If it's a functional analysis, I will have a set of Banach spaces, Hilbert spaces. Okay, Hilbert space there is essentially only one. It was in separability, but then there are various grades of things, right? The way the elements behave, there is anyway, forget it. Okay, so my suggestion will be, please go through each and every example and make an honest attempt in each of the cases. Ask some questions on your own. Don't worry whether you can solve it or not. Ask some question. What is the simplest open set? Whether this is an open set? Whether this is something like that. Keep on asking. As I said, there are a lot of such questions. That's why I took x equal to r always very concrete so that you can explore. Please explore. You will see how confident you are. Okay? Take care. Wish you all the best. We will see again.